Welcome all to your, we're not allowed to call it your graduation because we're not legally allowed to graduate you. You're graduating from Mid-Yorkshire, which is a graduation in itself and a ceremony of our thanks to you for coming. You've all got a programme. Everything you need to know is in that programme as far as I'm aware. So there's a programme of sort of agenda at the front. There are comments all the way through from people you've been working with, consultants and others, about tips and hints and thanks and things. On the back of the programme is the Declaration of Geneva, which we were saying at the end. We're going to start off programme with Dr. Stone, as I said earlier, and then we'll have presentations after that. Me in the middle, presentations again, Declaration of Geneva. Most importantly, food at the end, and more photographs. So the photographs are all the way through when you come to collect your certificate. Try to ensure you walk straight into a staircase and not crossing over the roads and things. That's the whole point of the way. That's why at the end of the road. Hopefully it should work. Fingers crossed. Okay, Dr. Stone.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everyone. It doesn't seem like 6 weeks ago. It seems like forever ago that you came and joined us. I hope your time's been very valuable with us. And this is the first ever Mid-Yorkshire graduation ceremony. Celebration of graduates, call it what you want, but I hope we never have to have FiY1s again, that we never have to be in this position, so you're quite unique. And on that note, it's been a year of firsts, and it will have been a year of firsts for you personally, and some of those will have been expected. And some of those have been very unexpected, as they have for the rest of us. So I hope you're all expecting to graduate, and I hope you're all expecting to be doctors, and I hope you all expected to turn up for an induction one day and somebody to welcome you and say, "Good morning, doctors," because that's what the last 5 or more years have been all about for you. You probably didn't expect, though, to do no finals and to just turn up on the GMC list and be registered and things like that. So things have been really quite different this year, and congratulations to you all for navigating your way through it, because it's not been straightforward. We've sort of been winging it a bit, would probably be the best way to describe the time since Christmas, because nobody at the end of last year, sort of Christmas holidays, we were starting to hear there's this funny bug in China somewhere. But it really wasn't until after New Year that things really started to hot up, and it started to become evident that things were going to be very different and we were likely to have a pandemic. So, as a pandemic, it's the first one for over 100 years, and it's the first one that the NHS has ever had to respond to. I hope it's the only one that all of us in this room ever have to respond to in our careers. But what we can say is we did respond to it. The NHS did rise to the challenge, and you were absolutely part of it. And we were able to treat all the patients who needed to be treated. And that was what was really important as we set out on the journey, was how on earth are we going to deal with this infection as it sweeps across our population. And of course, this is the first time we've had to have a socially distanced ceremony in here as well. So your parents aren't here, or whoever it would be that you would bring with you to support you at your graduation. Now, there will be a time for parties and celebrations, I've no doubt about that, and please enjoy it when you get the chance. But if you'll let me be a proud mum for you, I'd appreciate that. This time last year, almost to the day actually, I was in Manchester for my eldest daughter's graduation. I was there racking my brains thinking, what did they do? What did they go through? What did they say? I can't remember. I was just so proud. And so I hope that all of your families, whoever it is, will have the opportunity to share this time with you. But we'll all do that for you today. I can't really remember my own graduation, and I really am that old. It was 30 years ago, and my 30-year reunion has been cancelled because we're all a bit too busy. I remember bits about the day and having a photo taken, and Mum and Dad came and stuff. But I absolutely remember my first day at work, as clear as it was yesterday. And I expect all of you will have memories of that day when you first worked on the ward as doctor, and you'll do it again when you start formally as an FiY1. I think it's a bit different for you because I walked into Walsgrave Hospital, that's in Coventry, and you go to the board, well in those days you went to the boardroom, you're told to turn up at the boardroom. It wasn't the first Wednesday in August, it was the 1st of August. I meant to have a look. It was a weekday that year, but it could be a Saturday or Sunday. It just was always the 1st of August. And you turned up and you went to the boardroom and you picked up your bleep. And there was somebody there making sure you picked the right bleeps up. And there was piles of bleeps all over the place. And they had your name on them. And you were told to pick them up. Off you go. They expected that you knew where to go, who you might want to meet. And attached to my bleep was a little note that said, your team's all at the other hospital. There were 2 hospitals in Coventry at the time. They're all at the other hospital doing outpatients. Go to CCU, you're on call for CCU. And that was it, that was my induction. So I hope we've gone a little bit further in the last 30 years to make you feel a bit more welcome and supported when you arrive. So a few words of advice to you. Be proud. Be really proud of what you've achieved, because the last 5 years have been about getting that degree. But now be proud to be that doctor. It's really important. It's a very elite club. There's only just over 300,000 of us in the country. There's well over 60 million people in the country, so that tells you the scale. It's a very small club, but it's a really important one, and the population can't manage without us. It's one of the oldest professions. You know, it's just so important that you are proud of what you are, because that will help you in your professionalism as you go forward. You're going to be part of the most intimate moments of people's lives, whether it's as they're born or they die or somewhere in between. You will be party to conversations and intimate details that nobody else is. And that's a real privilege, so take it as a privilege. But your patients will teach you. They will teach you immeasurable amounts of just stuff. And learn from them. Listen well, observe well, and you will become really good doctors. Be kind. Remember that compassion and caring go a long way. The values and behaviours of the organisation that you work in will have been developed by that organisation to suit the needs of that organisation, but they are worth knowing and worth following, and you'll have seen ours around the place. And work hard. It is a tough job, and there are days when it will be really tough, but every hard day comes to an end and you can go home and take time to recharge your batteries and come back again. But if you work hard, I'm sure that I'm looking in this room, there will be some people in this room who are going to just be really good jobbing doctors. And there might be a professor sat in this room, and there may be a world famous surgeon, and there may be the next medical director sat in here, I don't know. But work hard and make the most of your career, because it really is worth it. And I can say that from somebody who's been doing it for a long time, and I have really enjoyed my career. So without further ado, aim to make a difference. We will bring you down. Who's calling names out? Kelly's going to call names out. We're going to ask you to come down, take your time. We don't want anyone falling, we're not in a hurry. I wasn't checking the height of heels as you came in. So take your time. We're going to pop a certificate on here, because we've got to do it socially distanced. We'd love to shake your hands and give you a hug, but we can't. We're going to put it on here. Then if you pick it up, step back a bit, we'll get a photograph of you, and then make your way back to your seat. And please don't trip over. That's the main thing, I think, is please don't trip over. Thank you.
Okay. Charles Anderson. Barnard. Charlotte Bowles. Henry Browning. Florence Buckley.
That's how we photo, sorry.
Amy Carter. Daniel Cullen. Sarah Dowsall. Sophie England. Savantha Fernando. Hannah Flower. Alexander Fraser. Emily Hampstead.
Did I say a few, but just continue and we'll change it around.
Lowry Hunt. Amy Jones. Kerry Lampotan. Megan Lord. Imogen Ludman. Matthew Rabin Smith. Edmund Rostand. Lucy Wallace. James Anthony Wilkinson. Ryan Wolfe. Well done, everybody.
It's switched on. So I've got some messages from some other universities. So you've got the things in your little packs, which are the comments from people here. And I've also got some messages. I'll give you excerpts. There's quite a lot of writing, so I'll just give you excerpts of this. So this is from Professor MacLeod, who is at the Holyoke Medical School. She's the dean there. She wants to pass on her thanks and congratulations to all of you here. She said you're even more special because of the situation you've been in. You'll always be the class of 2020 who graduated medicine early and helped the NHS at a time of crisis. I'm sure you'll continue to learn from that experience. As you now prepare for your planned FiY1 jobs, I wish you all the best for your careers as doctors. I know you have the ability to be excellent doctors to make a difference to the lives and outcomes of the patients and colleagues you come into contact with. So take care, stay safe, and congratulations. We have one from a Moira White at Edinburgh University. Who went to Edinburgh? Two. Excellent. So this is from Moira White. From my own point of view, I'd like to tell the students how proud I am of our Edinburgh graduates as they stepped up in the NHS's time of need. They were always an excellent cohort of students, but I think we were all amazed by their willingness to put themselves forward, and indeed their enthusiasm for moving early into foundation doctor roles. Please send them my warmest congratulations. And hope there'll be, very much hope there's going to be a real graduation ceremony in the future, possibly in the autumn or in 2021, so fingers crossed. And then from Clive Ballard at Exeter University, was it Exeter? So almost abroad. Starting your professional career during a pandemic must have triggered a lot of emotion, excitement, trepidation, nervousness. It's a time of both great challenge and tremendous opportunity, and I've been delighted to see how swiftly our students have become valued members in their workplaces, showing adaptability, a willingness to learn, and extraordinary resilience and adaptability. She said twice now. I'm sure you'll continue to embrace the opportunities presented to you, and I look forward to seeing you flourish in your careers. From Leeds, that's a lot of you. Who's in Leeds? Just for completion, okay? So, lots of stuff. We'll send this out to you as well, so you've got it on your online. But the most important paragraph here is, I stand back in admiration and with an immense feeling of pride for all you've done. We talk a lot about resilience and professionalism without probably really understanding what this means until you're in the midst of it. Your individual contributions to your patients and the wider NHS have been unprecedented, and for that alone I extend my deepest thanks. That's from Professor Stewart, who's the Executive Dean and Professor of Medicine and Leeds. And then UCL, one person. Again, quite a lot there. But I suggested to you all that you were ready, and that without knowing it, this is the very thing you're all preparing for during the many years of study and sacrifice. You all now know that you're indeed ready to contribute, to help and to make a real difference. There are countless lives that each of you have touched in so many ways that will never be forgotten. And something about taking silly hats off. You must have had some sort of Teams graduation have you already?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else had a Teams type graduation or Zoom or something like that yet? So, a number of you? Amazing what you can do these days, isn't it? Okay, so what would it be like after COVID in your real jobs? I know some of you are coming back here, and some of you are moving on to other places. So in your real jobs, it's not like this normally. It's got good points and bad points. It's not normally like it has been for you. We don't know what it's going to be like. We really don't. So when people are saying that, they're not lying and hiding something. We really don't know what's around the corner, how it's going to pan out, how it's going to be from August onwards. The same rules apply to you and to us as to everyone else, the distancing and the lockdown and things. So we really don't know what we can and can't do. What is clear to me and to everyone who works here is that you are ready for that career. So you've been battle tested. You've been thrown in at the deep end. It's a different sort of deep end from normal, but you've done it, you survived it, hopefully you enjoyed it, you progressed. And it's a really good basis for the rest of your career. You are indeed unique, because hopefully we'll never have to do this again in the nicest possible way. So you are the unique class of 2020. So the massive upside is that you've already started your career. You've got over that first day hurdle we heard about a short while ago. You've had your first day. I know going to somewhere different in August will be another first day, but you've worked out how your day pans out as a doctor, what sort of things you'd be expected to do. And although in different places it will be a little bit different, things will be kept in different places, they'll use slightly different methods, but it's overall pretty much the same. But remember to be patient and show tolerance and kindness to your colleagues who haven't had this opportunity. So they'll be coming in behind you, starting, they've not done this work, they've not been with you, and they will be somewhat behind you for a few months. They will catch up, but your role is first to be supportive to them, as well as to each other. If you're going somewhere different, I've already said, we'll do things a bit differently. It's not necessarily wrong to do things differently, it's just different, and you'll just get into it elsewhere. At least you've had a really good grounding here. So as the workload increases, and it will, because normally we're standing here in front of FiY1s, particularly on the first induction we do, saying it's really busy here. And that's one thing to notice, it's really busy, so excellent opportunity for learning. But be aware that it's busy. So if you think you're being really busy, that's right, that's what it's normally like. It's been less busy up till now, but it will get busier again. So, but in different ways, and again, we're not really sure what those ways are going to be. So be prepared to be flexible as you learn the different ways of doing things. Your training will need to be more planned than it has been in the past. Because a lot of training is just kind of dripped in opportunistically because there's so many patients around, so much work you're doing, it's quite easy. You're getting trained just by osmosis. Now, as we move into a different era, you'll need to plan your training more. So you want to build a bigger relationship with your supervisors, clinical and educational supervisors. It's a one-to-one relationship you want with them. You want to see them more frequently than just the 3 meetings in the whole over 6 months. You want to have frequent meetings, discuss with them your needs, look at your curriculum, decide how to get what you need for you in that time, depending upon how we're running things. A lot of education will now be done across Zoom or Teams or some similar platform. But there'll be a little bit of blended learning, so you will still be in rooms like this to some extent as well. It's different, we're all learning ways. People as old as us, and I'm including me of course, people as old as me, are less used to these sorts of ways than you are. So you will need to help teach us how to use all these bits of kit. When it all goes wrong, as it will, I always go straight to Dad. And he puts it right, he presses buttons and stuff, and things happen. And I have no idea. So that is going to be what a lot of your consultants are like. We are time challenged in a sense. So you need to help us as well. So support each other and support us, because we're finding our feet with all this technology to some extent. Remember to get your assessments as early as possible. I say this every year to the doctor anyway. I'll say it again so you won't miss out. Every year, just before the ARCPs, we have a crocodile of people going out. And it's not this time queuing for McDonald's or Costa. this time it's people queuing for their assessments to put on their portfolio because they've left it to the last minute. You don't need to do that. You can start straight away. You've got your foot under the desk already, as it were. So you can get your assessments done as early as possible. Imagine there's another spike in COVID or some other disease coming next week, and your training will stop next week. Are you as prepared in your portfolio as you could be if that were going to be the case? So don't wait, don't think, oh, I'll wait till after Christmas to start getting all this stuff done. Start doing it now, because you don't know what's around the corner. We didn't know what was around the corner when COVID hit. I mean, fortunately, we were able to prepare a lot for it, but we could have prepared even more if we'd known. And next time, hopefully, the NHS will be more aware. Your training is going to become more specialised again. At the moment, it's very generic. We're trying to open the specialties again, whilst maintaining some of the cohorting that we've done with you in the past, because you quite like the cohorting, I think. The idea of being deployed on a twice daily basis or whatever, being separated and useful. It's good for you, you get to meet lots of other people, you have a team of people you work with all the time. That's a bit like what it used to be like in our day when it was working with firms. So we've kind of gone back to that, and guess what? It's like a new thing. You could write papers on this and say we've invented this thing called firms, and the circle turns around. Because actually it's really good to have that continuity between you. But unfortunately your training structure just doesn't allow that fully, so we will have to move back to the more specialised stuff. But we'll try and keep as much of that pseudo-firm structure as we can, where we can. We've got lots of simulation kit. You've probably seen some of it. If you haven't, hopefully you'll be being trained with some of it wherever you are, but there's certainly a lot of it here. We're going to have to build simulation much more into your training, because you're going to see possibly fewer patients, possibly. In terms of seeing patients, you're going to be dealing with them in different ways. Telephone consultation, AV consultation is here to stay. We're going to continue doing that even after the COVID outbreak's finished, whenever that will be. Because it works, it's quite good, a lot of people like it. That's a skill most of us haven't ever had, but it's a skill you all need to develop, because, and your consultants are developing it at the same time. So that's a new thing for us, and we'll be continuing to do that. It'll be non-face-to-face consultation. Remember to look after your own health, but be ready for challenges on your time and on your knowledge, by both people and events. There will be challenges. There will be things you've never done. There will be things you don't know anything about. And there are things around every corner which you just can't predict. The important thing is, as it always says on the mugs, don't panic. That's the most important thing. The one thing doctors are supposed to be trained to do now is to not panic. When you're at the roadside crash with no kit, what use is the doctor? That is the person who makes everyone not panic, who makes everyone think rationally, get somebody doing CPR, get somebody phoning the ambulance. That non-panicking person is the medically trained one. That's the important thing. That's what we're trained for. Don't panic. Ask people. Always ask before you do things if you can. There are lots of people around to help you. Nursing staff, physios, other doctors, whoever. Medical education. Wherever you are, there'll be a medical education wherever you go to, and I'm sure they won't be as good as us, obviously, but they'll be quite good. And they'll be there to help you, they'll be there to support you. Remember that nobody works alone. I've been doing this job now for nearly 20 years. So a number of truisms I've got from working in this job is that nobody works alone. We all work in a team, or teams. Actually, a member of lots of different teams. Some of those teams that you work in, you will not see. They're behind the scenes. You don't know they're there necessarily until things go wrong. But the majority of those teams are there to make your wheels go smoother, to make your life easier. Whether that's in pathology, doing things, getting tests ready for you when you need them. Whether that's in payroll, making sure you A, get paid at all, and B, get paid the right amount. That's always quite nice, and sorting that out for you. These things always do sort themselves out. So if you're having issues with payroll, they always do get sorted out in the end, so don't panic. Before you retire, it will all be sorted. So remember to be thankful to everyone you meet, because they may be in a team that you don't know exists, actually affects you. And also don't forget, lots of people in these teams know you, even though you don't know them. They see your name, they know about you, so remember they may know you already. The best results are always, without fail, ever, by being polite, kind, and tolerant. I've been doing this job a long time. And politeness, kindness, and tolerance gets you what you want. It gets you, it opens the door. The opposite of that is also absolutely true. And when people fall off the rails, and often they do, people can come unstuck for all sorts of reasons. You don't often come unstuck just because of your lack of knowledge. It's your interpersonal issues. It's that lack of politeness, that lack of kindness and tolerance. The sort of people who go to the medical director are not lacking in ability, not lacking in knowledge. It's people who are lacking in, suddenly, for whatever reason, a breakdown in interpersonal skills. So remember to be polite and kind. There is never an excuse for rudeness or loss of temper. This is not COVID, this is remember that your bad day is your bad day. So don't spread your bad day to everybody else. Spread your good days around. Spread the goodness of your day, but don't spread your bad days. It's just your bad day. Nobody else has to suffer because you are having a bad day. And we do often find people like a bull in a china shop, storming around because they're having a bad day and they want everyone else to know about it. But you don't need to. Keep that to yourself. Unless it's an issue in which you need to discuss it with us. Never reply in anger by an email or a letter. Never reply in anger, really. Somebody keeps saying, I think it's Dan keeps telling me, write an email 4 times, send it once. No, you keep saying that. See how I'm learning from my junior colleagues. And that's very true. Don't just send off the email because you're angry. You can write it, but don't send it. Don't put anybody in the toolbar because that's going to be twitch and you send. We've all done that, and it's very hard to get out of when you've done it. You can blame somebody else and say your computer's left on and the cleaner did it, but it's hard. So read it the following day, review it, make sure it's polite, kind, and factually correct before you send it, if you're going to send it at all. Who's ever heard the expression, never let the sun set on pus? Is that still an expression you hear here in surgery? No? No, at all. They like pus these days in surgery. So the idea was you still lance it and let the pus out as fast as possible. Don't just give antibiotics and let it fester for a bit. So in terms of anger, always let the sun set on angry thoughts. If you have angry thoughts, don't do anything with them at that point, because that's when you're in your most unstable. Go home, think about it, the following day act on it. Don't do it straight away. And again, I have lots of people who send off all sorts of emails and shout at people in corridors because they feel intense or angry, and then it's one of those moments that it takes to do, and then months of reparation. So just don't do it. We have this often through various committees, is talk about the management. I can assure you now, certainly in this organisation, and I think pretty much every organisation as well, there is no one out to get you. There really isn't anyone out there to get you. Because on the whole, when you're happy and when you're having a better time, so are all of us, everybody in the organisation, including HR, payroll, whoever the management are, which literally is on the top floor, it's only point of it. The management, people talk about all the time, might include some of your colleagues and friends, consultants, and sometimes registrars are part of the management, so you'll become part of it yourself at some point. So don't think of it as a them and us situation from the early stage. Try and remember they're all in the same boat together. When the boat goes down, it hits the iceberg, we all go down. So the management on top, sitting on top of the iceberg, paddling, they all go down with you. So remember, we're all in the same boat, be nice to each other. Don't be drawn into other people's fights. Remember that stress is beaten by action. Do something about it. If you're stressed, if you don't like something, if you don't think something is right, do something. Do something about it. Come and talk to somebody. We're always open to people giving us ideas. You are the people moving around. We don't move anywhere. But you move around. You've come from somewhere else. You've seen something work somewhere else. Those are the ideas we might just not have thought of, might just not have had. We need your ideas. Come talk to us about it. Do something about it. Who can you talk to with stress? Well, we're here. There's a whole health department. If you don't want to go to that step, come to see us, or the equivalent of us in other organisations. We're always open to you coming to discuss things with us. It doesn't go down on your record. It doesn't go anywhere beyond where you want it to go, but at least you've got someone to talk to. Sharing your problem. If you have a problem, share it with somebody, a friend, a colleague, one of us. And that problem starts to dissipate because we can help you. We can discuss things with you and perhaps think of different ways of solving them. Show initiative. We are always on the lookout. Dr. Stone particularly is always on the lookout for people showing initiative who are going to do that next thing. They're going to be a leadership fellow, or be involved in doing audits and quality improvement. Not just the quality improvement projects that you all have to do, but somebody who really gets into it. Somebody who really gets it, who's understanding things. That initiative raises you beyond everyone else. So show initiative, put things into action, organise things amongst yourself. You don't need us to enable you to talk to each other if you want to set up I'm sure you're all on WhatsApp groups already. That kind of communication. Keep doing it, keep talking. If you want to organise anything within the trust, we would like a junior doctor to be on every single committee virtually in the trust. It's not usually possible because they're too busy. We might look at it again this year if it's not quite so bad. Because we need your voice there. We need people to come forward and want to be involved. The people who get the most out are the people who put the most in. Something I was told when I was a house officer, because again I'm even older, so 30-something years. So as a house officer in the old days, one thing I was taught was never go home on an argument and never go to bed on an argument either. So don't let arguments go on to the next day. Sort them out. Do something about it. Don't let it fester. And so sort your difficulties out before you go if you can. And remember that medicine, not just the subspecialty of medicine, but medicine in general, is like a family. You often depending on what jobs you're doing, but often you see more of your work colleagues than you do of your partner or spouse. So, at certain times. So this is your family. These are your brothers and sisters and cousins and so on. Treat them the same, not necessarily if you have a totally antagonistic relationship with your siblings, but treat them as if they were, because these are the people you're going to depend on. Your interdependencies start here. So be kind and tolerant and polite, and get known for those skills. I would rather know you as a polite, tolerant, kind, inspirational, initiative-bearing person than somebody who's really good at urology or really good at neurology or something like that. You've got lots of knowledge. That's fine. You can acquire that, but it's the interpersonal skills that set you in the wrong direction if you haven't got them. Also, that we remember you for. Get remembered for your good interpersonal skills. So I think that's all I have to say in my bit. So if you all got one of these, you should all have one of these. So it's my privilege to invite you to, first of all, stand up, and then to recite with me the so-called physician's pledge. I don't know something about that. It also includes pathologists and radiologists too. Anyway, the physician's pledge, known as the Geneva Declaration, written in 1947, as an updated version of the Hippocratic Oath. This is not an oath, you're not calling on any divine powers, which an oath would do. This is a declaration of you, personally, for the rest of your career. And this was really in 2017, so it's quite a modern version. If you look at that online, you'll see it's changed quite a lot as society's changed. Okay, so recite on with me. As a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. The health and well-being of my patients will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patients. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will respect secrets that confide in me, even after the patient has died. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity, and in accordance with good medical practice. I will foster the honour and noble traditions of the medical profession. I will give my teachers, colleagues and students the respect and gratitude that they are due. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and the advancement of healthcare. I will attend to my own health, well-being and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honour. Welcome. So now consider yourselves graduated from Mid Yorkshire. I hope you get a graduation ceremony, a proper one, wherever you're going to, wherever you've come from. Some of you have something already, you might get another one, who knows. So I'd like to invite you outside now. We have oodles of
It's just cake, though. It's not real food, it's just cake.
So the only proper sort of food, obviously, which is cake, is outside, and some drinks of various sorts as well. And again, if you'd like to have your photographs taken with full academic dress, we have that outside too, under the balloons.